mesh gearbox. We know that the gearbox are mainly of three types: sliding mesh gearbox, constant mesh gearbox, and synchromesh gearbox. Now let's discuss the sliding mesh gearbox in detail. Sliding mesh gearbox consists of an input shaft, a counter shaft also known as lay shaft, and an output shaft. The input or clutch shaft has a spur gear attached to its end known as clutch gear. This clutch gear is meshed with a gear on the lay shaft. Other than this gear, the lay shaft has three more spur gears of different sizes. The gears on the lay shaft are fixed to it so that whenever the lay shaft rotates, all the gears rotate with same RPM. The splined output shaft has two different size spur gears mounted on it. These two gears are mounted in such a way that they rotate with the output shaft, but can slide horizontally along the splines of the output shaft. Now let us understand its working. The power from the engine gets transmitted to the clutch gear through the clutch shaft. The clutch gear, being enmeshed with the lay shaft gear, starts rotating the lay shaft. This in turn rotates all the gears on the lay shaft at same RPM. Now with the help of a selector mechanism, the gears on the splined output shaft are moved left or right to mesh them with appropriate lay shaft gears and achieve the required speed. This gearbox is also known as crash type gearbox. Let's see the gear arrangements for different gears. Let us number the gears 1 to 8. Now to achieve the first gear, the gear number 6 is slid and meshed with the gear number 5. Now the power from the clutch shaft gets transmitted along the gears 1, 2, 5 and 6 to the output shaft. The size of gear 5 is considerably smaller than the gear 6. This reduces the RPM of the output shaft and increases its torque. Similarly, to achieve the second gear, the gear 4 is meshed with the gear 3. Now the power gets transmitted along the gears 1, 2, 3 and 4. To achieve the top gear, the gear 4 is directly meshed with gear 1. Now the power gets transmitted directly from clutch shaft to output shaft. To achieve the reverse gear, the gear 6 is meshed with the gear 8. Now the power gets transmitted along the gears 1, 2, 7, 8 and 6. The introduction of gear 8 between gear 6 and gear 7 allows the output shaft to rotate in reverse direction. Now sliding mesh gearbox has many disadvantages. Prime among them are: it requires highly skilled driver for changing the gears. It has very low mechanical efficiency. It is very noisy in operation. Now let's summarize the sliding mesh gearbox as: